So I have actually got to get a few bits of housekeeping out of the way before I hit that intro. So shall we just quickly dive into that? Number one being a huge thank you to everyone involved with All In and all the events that took place this weekend, whether it be Progress Defy, Rev Pro, Riot Cabaret, Chocker Pro Wrestling, All In. Whether you were involved in that show in any capacity, a part of the crew, a wrestler, anyone, thank you all ever so much for helping us wrestling fans have an amazing weekend. Number two, this is my little bit of, what I'm going to be doing. So I'm back today. I go camping tomorrow. So this is my full, recorded review of All In and my opinions on that. The rest, anything that breaks up until Friday, will probably be a YouTube short. So please stay tuned to that. You look at my YouTube shorts, please, and I will give you the content you wish for. And the final thing I want to say is about All In general is that thank you for everyone who sort of followed my coverage of All In. I'm very, very proud of what I've managed to do with All In, just sort of follow everything. You can check out the All In Saga playlist that I have above my head. It's gained me quite a few subscribers, and I'm very, very thankful for everyone who has, clicked along the way, watched me talk about this insane wrestling event that's broken records and has now gone by. It is now past. So instead, we're going to have to look onto things new. But before we do that, let's talk about the biggest wrestling show in professional wrestling history right now. Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about AEW All in Wembley / London, whatever you want to call it. All in 2023, the biggest event in pro wrestling history. 81,000 fans in Wembley Arena in the UK. My God, what a sight to behold. But before we talk about that, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below on All in Wembley as we dive into the show. So first of all, before I dive into the show, I'm just going to try and capture the exact experience I had at All in Wembley, because I was fortunate enough to go to Wembley Stadium. Now, one thing I will say, I'll get a few negatives out of the way because I like being positive on this channel. A few negatives, nothing to do with the event, more to do with just the London system in general. If you're going to hold an event on a Sunday, TK or council, whoever, make sure you have more tubes running, please, because getting home for me was an absolute bastard. It was incredibly difficult to get home. We got home at about 1:30 in the morning because the tube stopped running and we were in central London. It was a difficult one to get back. Also, maybe your queuing in system to Wembley Stadium, maybe just add a few barricades, a few bollards or something to sort of cordon off, because you've got a queue on one side and you've just got a sea of people going in one way. Maybe just work on some of that stuff, Wembley Stadium, because other than that, All In was fan-freaking-tastic to be there. And I don't know, I can't comment for what it's like watching it on a screen. I can only comment for what it's like being there in the arena. But my God, you walk through the concourse and you walk down the tunnel and you see Wembley Stadium, my first time in Wembley Stadium, and I got chills because it's huge. Anything you see on TV, any concert you see in Wembley Stadium does not do it justice until you're actually there. It is a mind-blowing sight to behold. And yeah, got the chills everywhere on my body as soon as I walked out of that tunnel. And we had really good seats. I managed to get them through pre-sale, so we were right by the ring. We had a pretty good view. We had a big screen above us, and then we could sort of see some of the action that was going on in the ring. And it was just an incredible, incredible night that I will truly remember forever. Everything that happened on this show, my first premium live event, my first pay-per-view, should I say, and it did not disappoint. I have a few niggling issues with booking, with some creative, with a particular match, but that can't take away from the glorious experience that I had being in a stadium full of wrestling fans, 81,000 wrestling fans, just all having the time of our lives. And thank you, Tony Khan, for that. Now that I've got the mushy stuff out of the way 5 minutes into the video, shall we talk about the show as a whole? Shall we start reviewing the show? Because that's what I usually do on this channel. I go through the card, I tell you what happened, what matches, angles, everything, and then you tell me your thoughts as well. So for the first time ever, I think, I actually watched a 0 hour. Not all of the 0 hour. I missed the Hobbs and Miro stuff because I was trying to get wine and a bottle of Coke, but the queues were very big. So I missed that. I missed the Grado stuff as well. I got first glimpse of the set, of the stage, when Aussie Open came out, and we had the opening match, which was Aussie Open versus Better Than You Baby for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. What a fun way to open the show. This was really fun. This gave you just teensy glimpses of what MJF and Adam Cole are capable of, and yeah, it set the stage, really. It set the stage for their long-term story going through. It wasn't a blow-away match, because obviously you had two guys who were wrestling in the main event, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Adam Cole hit some pretty sick moves on poor Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher took a lot of punishment in this 7-minute match, and eventually Better Than You Baby picked up the win with a double clothesline, becoming the new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Very interesting to see where this goes, particularly with what happened in the main event, but this was a really, really fun way to open the show. The next match we got on 0 hour was Jack Perry defending the FTW Championship against Hook. I enjoyed this. I think there was sort of like grudge match fuel here, and I really liked some of the spots that they did, particularly involving the limo. You know, Jack Perry taking a sick bump onto the windscreen that you could hear echo throughout the arena. It sounded ruthless and brutal. And then, yeah, they had a bit of a fun brawl. It wasn't anything to particularly write home about. And Hook picked up the win with the Taz mission. I don't really see the point in Hook now having the belt unless he's just going to keep it forever. But it was fun enough. It was absolutely fun enough. And, yeah, it was a solid pre-show. That's all I can say. Then we got the opening match that was CM Punk defending the Real World's Championship against Samoa Joe in what was one of my favourite matches of the night. I think this was ungodly good. I really, really loved everything that happened in this match. I loved how over Joe was. I knew Joe was going to be over because here in the UK, we are big TNA fans. We used to get that on free TV, and we love Samoa Joe. CM Punk, I would say, was primarily booed here at Wembley Stadium, primarily booed, and he easily played the heel throughout the entire match with some really cool heel moves, hitting John Cena's moves of doom, hitting the Hogan leg drop, the ultra bait, trying to pretend he's the ultra baby face, and then Joe just doing badass things like slamming him through the announce table or doing his walk away from the crossbody. I think that was so fun. And then, yeah, it really kicked into final gear. Both guys were battering each other. CM Punk's busted open, and Punk hits the Pepsi plunge, something I've never seen done before. I can't remember the last time he did it. I feel like he might have done it in the MJF match, but I can't remember seeing him do a Pepsi plunge ever, which is basically a top rope pedigree to Samoa Joe to pick up the win and retain his world championship. So, a really fun, really enjoyed this match, and I don't want I've got to address it somehow. I was going to put a little caption in, but I feel like I should address it. I don't want any of the backstage stuff to eclipse what I thought of this show. I'm not allowing that to happen at this point. I'm sick of talking about it, so I'm not going to do a video on it, and I'm not going to talk about it here. I just need to acknowledge that you guys know, I know what allegedly happened, and I'm not going to talk about it. Just done. Can't be bothered. But it was a fantastic match. Okay? Then we got probably the biggest disappointment of the night, and that was the 6-man tag of Bullet Club Gold and Konosuke Takeshita taking on the Golden Elite. Are they still the Golden Elite? Or is it just the Golden Lovers with Hangman Page? we'll see. Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hangman Page took on Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita in a 20-minute match that never really felt like it got fully going. I don't really know how to describe this. It was very weird. I'm shocked they've managed to take away all the heat from Takeshita, but Takeshita, for me, looked the best in this match. I thought he looked amazing. The knee strike that he did to Kota Ibushi was just death. Just utter death is all I can say. He absolutely obliterated poor Ibushi, and I don't think Ibushi got a chance to shine, kind of like he also didn't get the chance to shine in Blood and Guts because he was a bit off his game. Kenny Omega was easily the most over person in the entire match, but even still, I don't think we got best bout machine Kenny Omega. He didn't hit those moves that I thought he didn't hit in this, and I'd get the building to Takeshita versus Omega at All Out, which will be flawless. But yeah, this is furthering a feud. I don't think this did as much as I wanted it to. We're probably going into a program with Hangman versus Jay White, which I think is quite interesting. But as a match, this was probably the low light for me. Then we got one of the matches of the night, FTR defending the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks. So I actually had to pee at the start of this match. I can openly admit that. I had to go for a wee, and I missed sort of the opening minute of this match. I missed the Young Bucks entrance and I missed FTR's entrance, and then when I came running down to my seat, they were already grappling in the ring. But this for me has gotten a lot of love. I've seen a lot of love for this match, calling it like an instant classic. I think it was really good. I don't think it's as good as their previous match. I still think the first match is my favourite. That had really, really good storytelling and really cool spots in it that stuck with me. I don't know if as much of that will stick with me for this. Granted, it was slightly marred by some of the incredibly disrespectful yet hilarious Cash Wheeler chants, but the sort of 15 minutes, the opening 15 minutes of this match, I didn't think clicked with me for some reason. I don't get why. I can't understand why it didn't fully click with me. They went into like full gear straight away as well, but there was something about it that I felt a bit distant from. And then when it hit the last 5 minutes, it just, everything clicked and it was amazing. You know, Cash going for the springboard 450 again, like he did in the first match. The golden trigger, or the BTE trigger, sorry, that FTR did on, I think, Nick Jackson was fantastic. Really, really cool. But yeah, something about it just didn't click. Just didn't click for me in the way that some of the other matches on this card did. But I'm not taking away from the fact that it was an amazing tag match. It was an amazing tag match, but you've got two of the best teams in the ring, and they have had bangers that I think are superior to this one. I really love the ending though. I love them stealing each other's moves, and the out of nowhere sort of shatter machine that FTR hit looked beautiful. It was out of nowhere, got a huge pop from the audience. That gave them the 1, 2, 3, and they picked up the win, retaining the belt. So they are 2-1 on the Young Bucks. They go to handshake the Bucks, and the Bucks refuse. Probably leading to, I would imagine you would want to do a Young Bucks sort of series with FTR, but I feel like you'd want to end it on a stipulation. I think a tag team Iron Man match between these two would be really cool, but we'll see where they go from here. They might just draw a line under it completely, but we'll see. This match was really, really good, but it didn't hit me the way it's hit others. One match that did hit me like a rock, was Stadium Stampede, the team of Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends and Penta and Eddie Kingston taking on the Blackpool Combat Club and Santana and Ortiz in utter carnage, utter mayhem, where there's too much to just talk about. I don't know where I start on this. Which spots do I talk about? Is it the finish, the broken glass orange punch, because that was fantastic? Was it Claudio and Eddie brawling up right in the seats at the top? That was quite cool as well. Was it man like Darius getting yeeted by Eddie Kingston into a table? Maybe. Was it Trent's mom? Was it Sue coming down? Was it Mox getting the kebab skewers in the head? just what do you say about this? It was awesome. It was awesome carnage. Way prefer it to Anarchy in the arena. And while it is messy at times, the Stadium Stampede, you don't really know where to look. I think just the utter carnage and everything that happened in this match delivered for me, and it was exactly what I was expecting, if not more. And seeing Jon Moxley's entrance live, it's just perfection. Eddie Kingston as well, getting a monster pop. And just, yeah, some of the spots were really inventive. I loved the the tape around Orange Cassidy's hand and using the glass to hit Claudio. Thought that was brilliant. And then Cassidy picked up the win after Kingston sort of spears Jon Moxley through a table and gives him the middle finger while they're both sitting there. It was goddamn amazing. And I loved Stadium Stampede. I absolutely loved it. I don't know what else to say. The next match we got was Saraya taking on Hikaru Shida, taking on Toni Storm, taking on Britt Baker in a 4-way match for the AEW Women's Championship. I've seen a lot of hate for this match. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And the outcome in particular was really good. I think they told a nice story between the Outcasts and their implosion as Toni Storm clocks Saraya's mum in the crowd. But it just goes back to the eternal issue, doesn't it? 8 minutes in Wembley Stadium. Come on. There has to be something else for the AEW Women's Division to do. But again, I don't know if the heart's in the right place, but Saraya winning in a really unique finish. I really loved that she took out Toni Storm, and Britt nearly had it won, but she was too distracted in trying to get Shida that she didn't realise Saraya was pinning Toni Storm behind her. I thought that was a really creative finish. I really loved it. And the celebration was emotional. I was tearing up. Seeing all of her family there was just amazing. It was truly amazing. But again, it does come down to the fact that they are criminally underserved in the women's division. And Tony can say whatever he wants in the press conference, but at the end of the day, it should be doing more. End of. And yeah, that dampened a little bit of this match, but I think it's way better than people are actually giving it credit for in terms of story, in terms of character. I think it's really cool. Really cool. So yeah, one of my favourite women's matches of the year, to be honest, out of ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Not as good as Charlotte Rhea, that's still my favourite, but a really good 4-way match for the women's title, and emotional as well. Hit my soul. The next match we got was the coffin match between Darby Allin and Sting as they took on the Mogul. No, just one member of the Mogul Embassy, which is Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage in a fun match. Now, I've been told I need to address the fact that Darby Allin did not come out to his music, which made my partner very upset, because she was really looking forward to hearing Darby Allin's music, because it's a banger. It's a really good banger. I know they played Sting's old WCW theme, but come on, give us a bit of Darby, give us I Fell, please. It's just a banger. It's just a banger. This match to me was a way to get Sting in front of Wembley Stadium, and we all ate it up, because anything that man did was god tier, whether it be trying to drive Swerve through a table, whether it be Scorpion Death dropping Swerve onto the coffin, whether it just be doing crazy stuff. No selling the chair was just awesome. This was all about Sting and making Sting look as cool as possible, while also bubbling away the little feud between Luchasaurus and Darby. I think this was just masterfully done, and I really love the spot. Swerve in his arrogance trying to shut the coffin on Sting, and he blocks it with the baseball bat. That was so cool. And got a huge reaction from the crowd. Swerve's hair was hanging out of the coffin. So does that count, or is it just the bat? Referee's discretion? Who cares? We'll ignore that, because this was so fun. This was a really fun coffin match. I don't usually enjoy coffin matches that much, but I think Darby, to his credit, has really reinvented it as a stipulation, because the old casket matches that like the Undertaker and Kane used to have, I don't even know if Kane's been in one. Kane must have been in a casket match at some point. I just think he's reinvented it to make it so cool and so fresh that, yeah, really, really enjoyed this tag match. And Sting is the most over man in the entire building. Then we got my personal favourite match of the night, and that was Will Ospreay taking on Chris Jericho. I went into this thinking this would probably be my match of the night, because I was really, really looking forward to this, and it delivered in spades. In spades. I mean, the entrance was what it was. Jericho singing Judas was an event, but it was cool. It was cool. He's got to sing in Wembley Stadium. But this match I just absolutely loved. Even if the dynamics are way off, even if Ospreay should be the face, yet he's with ultra heel Don Callis, it doesn't matter, because what these two did in the ring was just magnificent. Ospreay is my favourite. Is he my favourite? He's one of my favourite wrestlers working today. I love everything that he does, and he was fantastic working with Jericho. They hit such cool stuff when they were doing each other's moves. When Jericho went for an Oscar, when Jericho hit his Lion Salt, he was truly bringing out the younger Chris Jericho, the WCW Chris Jericho, Lionheart Jericho, out into these matches, and it ultimately led to just sick kickouts and sick near falls. It was like a bit of a New Japan match, to be honest. And when Ospreay kicked out of the Judas effect, I was racking my brain. I think Moxley's the only person who's kicked out of a Judas effect, but my God, that was a close near fall. And then Jericho kicking out the Stormbreaker, realizes he's got it lost, beckons in Ospreay, and Ospreay hits a sick hidden blade into the Stormbreaker for the win. Ospreay needed this win, and he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it on the grandest stage of them all. Fantastic win for Ospreay. He looks great. Hopefully we see him more continuously in AEW, but he's beaten, he's on a tear at the moment. He's on an absolute tear. And yeah, we got a little bit in the ring between Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, teasing a split between them. I don't particularly care, because I feel like I've seen this 1,000 times before, but that's not taken away from the match. My match of the night, one of my favourite matches of the year, actually, and I'm so happy I got to see it in person. The next match was a trios match for the AEW Trios Championship, as the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn took on the House of Black. This was everything that it needed to be. I don't think it necessarily needed to be on the card, but you had to get the Acclaimed in Wembley. You simply had to, if not for just the Prince Andrew joke, because that wasn't what I was expecting. I literally leaned over to my partner and I was like, what do you think they're going to say in the rap? What do you think they're going to say in the rap? And we thought it'd be something about, Rishi Sunak or Tories or something like that. But no, bringing out the Prince Andrew guns. And it was such a loud reaction to that. No one heard the second line, which was funny. And then we got a few Harry Potter digs in there. Everyone loves the Acclaimed. The match itself was standard. It was completely fine. It was mainly built around trying to rally Billy Gunn to finally hit the Famouser. And he hits the Famouser, and they win. They win. The Acclaimed are the new Trios champions. And I don't know if you'd have beaten House of Black, because I utterly love House of Black so much, and I don't think this was the match that they needed coming in. I think they needed a big win. I would have liked them to get a huge big win in Wembley, but at the same time, the Acclaimed are so over. They've finished this story with Billy Gunn. They've wrangled Billy Gunn into what he used to be. He wrangled him into Daddy Ass. He is Daddy Ass, and we got a big Daddy Ass scissoring party. It was really fun. And yeah, you just had to get the Acclaimed in Wembley. I really, really enjoyed this match. Then we got the main event. We got MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Adam Cole, Baby, in a match that I think is relatively controversial. I don't know if it's necessarily controversial, because I was just so enraptured by the whole thing. It was full-on sports, entertainment, drama, and I absolutely loved it. I think this is what the Bloodline wants to be. at times, this struck the tone between melodrama and work rate to perfection. They had the crowd in the palm of their hands from every move, from every callback, from every false finish. MJF and Cole had they just had a spell over the crowd. The brainbuster on the steps is one of the most horrible bumps I've ever seen in my life. That looked nasty, and I really liked that Cole was bringing out the vicious side of his personality. He's desperate to win that world championship, but doesn't matter more than his friendship with Max. I think, at least going off what I've seen so far, the friendship means more to MJF than the title, but I still think the title means more to Cole than the friendship, and I think that's where we're ultimately heading with this, because it just led to an incredible sequence in the middle that I was torn on, but I've come to like, which was the double clothesline to each other, their signature move, a double pin, which everyone just sort of went, huh? And then huge bullshit chants, 5 more minutes from Adam Cole, and MJF accepts. I thought that was going to be his undoing, because he said no last time and he kept the title. He said yes this time he might lose the title. But then they wrapped up into this final gear where the Kingdom get involved, where Roderick Strong's getting involved, that little asshole. And he just, he's trying to get Cole to cheat, trying to get him to win the belt, trying to win his friendship, throws the belt to one side, gets rolled up by MJF, 1, 2, 3. MJF retains in a really, really fun and entertaining match. And heartbroken, devastated Adam Cole is just weeping in the corner. Really good acting, to be fair, from Adam Cole. And MJF, we know, is a terrific actor. MJF throws the title at Cole as if to say, you want this? Go on, hit me. And then we get a repeat spot of what Adam Cole did for MJF after the FTR match. I love when they play that up and you think the turn's going to happen, but they hug. Roderick Strong storms to the back like Cody, and then I believe we're probably setting up a Kingdom versus Better Than You Bebe match for All Out for the ROH tag team titles. I think that's fun. And we've got that mystery. They remained friends, and we've still got that little bit of tantalising teasing going on over this feud. And that brought the show to the end. It also got announced that we're getting AEW All In 2024. So this is going to be an annual tradition, I think, here in the UK, which is always good. We'll talk about that in another video, I suppose. But that ended off the show. 5 out of 5 from me. Utterly loved my experience at All In. Utterly loved it. It was tremendous from top to bottom. Even the niggling issues I had couldn't overcome the entire love I had for the whole experience. It was one of probably the single greatest wrestling experience I've ever had in my life. And I can't wait to do it again next year. So 5 out of 5 from me. A little bit biased because I was there, but it is what it is. I can only give you my opinion, and that is my opinion. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you love this? Did you hate it? Let me know. Let me know everything you want down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.